Hi, beautiful. Limiting beliefs are exactly that. They're limiting. Limiting beliefs are belief systems that you have usually from childhood or possibly from a negative life experience that has tainted your view on something in life. Without removing your limiting beliefs, there's always going to be something blocking you from achieving your goals and dreams in life. We all have belief systems that kind of dictate how we live our lives from a day-to-day perspective. Oftentimes, limiting beliefs are from our childhood. They usually stem from either family belief systems that get passed down from generation to generation, or sometimes we get limiting beliefs from having gone through a negative life event. For example, I actually gained quite a few limiting beliefs from a negative and traumatic childhood event that happened to me. I was molested as a child for several years, and because of this, I carried around for many, many years, most of my life up until recently, I carried around a belief that that I was different. It made me feel shameful and like I had a secret. So it caused me to feel different, like an outcast or like I didn't fit in. And that one carried on throughout my life until just a few years ago, when I realized that this limiting belief caused me to have a full-blown social anxiety disorder. That feeling of having a secret as a child and feeling shameful about myself caused me to retreat into myself. And of course, when you're acting a certain way and you are acting as if you aren't approachable, other kids aren't going to approach you, and ultimately you're going to be left out. And when you're left out as a child, you feel even more unvalidated and more like an outsider, and I just perpetuated more of the same insecurities. And this strengthened my belief. And this is the problem with limiting beliefs, especially ones that start in childhood, because they can continue to affect us for the rest of our lives if we don't come off autopilot, learn about how this works, and really dissect it so that we can eliminate it completely. Because as an adult, I can now see that this limiting belief stemmed from when I was a child and I couldn't really process my feelings. And this belief system carried on throughout my life, but now as an adult, I can take back control. I still work on my social anxiety every single day, and I'm not 100% yet, but just simply knowing about this limiting belief and where it came from and where it stemmed from really empowered me to understand it and eliminate it and work towards eliminating it. The number 2 limiting belief that I got from being molested as a child was my idea about men. So I assumed that men only like you for one thing, or maybe men only value sex, or men are all pigs. So my view of men was very skewed. And the thing is, when I was growing up and I started to be interested in boys and men, I naturally went after and attracted the men who were kind of pigs or were only looking for sex. And then again, that just validated my thoughts and beliefs around that. Do you see where I'm going with this? All right. Another example of a limiting belief that I got from something that transpired in my life growing up was that just before I became a teenager, my father remarried and he was kind of MIA in my life. And so I adopted the belief that not only are men pigs and untrustworthy, I also didn't really understand and believe in a healthy relationship. So I adopted the belief that love doesn't last and that men will abandon you. So by the time I was a teenager and ready to date, I had this very skewed view of men and relationships and what it all meant. Now you can see how that would affect me in my life, not only as a teenager, but how throughout my life this would keep replaying and showing back up in my life. Another negative effect that happened from these belief systems that I now had was that I blocked my heart. So I wasn't emotionally available. Although I was a serial dater throughout my life and I did date quite a bit, I always had a block. I was never really fully able to commit to anyone or see anyone in my long-term future. I mean, yes, that could have been because they weren't meant for me, because I definitely knew how to pick them. But it was also like I knew that if I picked the wrong one and if I just dated losers, then I would never have to worry about being heartbroken when they left. Another limiting belief that I had from my upbringing was my limiting belief around money. Money doesn't grow on trees, my mom would say, or we can't afford that. I saw my mom working so hard, sometimes up to 3 jobs when I was growing up. And knowing that she was working so hard, but we still had little to no money and we still somehow couldn't afford much, that really sunk in with me and made me think that money is really hard to come by and you have to work a lot and really hard to make just a small amount of money. But to be honest, having that belief did not serve me well at all. Yes, it did teach me to be a hard worker, and my mom sure instilled that in me. But the thing is, money isn't as hard to come by as you would think. It's a lot about the mindset and how we view money. Also, if you find a career in life that you actually enjoy, it won't feel like work at all. And so money actually will feel like it's coming easier. And when you feel like that and when you're in those high vibes, you attract more easy money. Now that you have some examples of what limiting beliefs are, I want you to take this evening to really contemplate some of the limiting beliefs that maybe you have. Maybe you already know about limiting beliefs, and maybe you already know some of the ones that are limiting you in certain areas of your life. To feel fulfilled and truly happy in life, you want to make sure that every area of your life is free of those limiting beliefs and blocks so that you can excel and really attract your best version. Yes, I need you to dig deep and really look at your past and where some of these may have stemmed from. I want you to be open and honest to the process, and I want you to know how important this step is. Also, this isn't just a set it and forget it concept. Limiting beliefs are something that don't just change overnight, especially if they came from childhood. They are deeply ingrained, and sometimes even in your subconscious mind, you don't even realize they're there. You're going to need to continuously work towards them and be aware of them when they pop up in your life. So for this to really work and for you to really let go of a lot of these limiting belief systems and blocks in your life, you're gonna have to consciously be aware of them and work towards eliminating them. Don't look at this as a chore. Look at this as taking back control of your life. Look at this like you are taking back your power, your innate womanly power that you were born with. And you are choosing to get off autopilot so that you can live your best life. That's why you're here, isn't it? So let's get started.